Hi, how's it going? It's the Slayer here. So today I'm showing you how I beat Darkeater Midir, possibly one of the toughest bosses in Souls games, and certainly the toughest bosses in Dark Souls 3, at least in my opinion. This is a new Game+2, so I've beaten pretty much all the other bosses, but this was the one boss I hadn't beaten prior to this, and I got this DLC first in New Game+1, so I didn't even experience it in normal. So the strategy I used was from a mix of strategies promoted by various content creators and users online. So first up, shout out to Delve Game Guides, who told me to use Pestilent Mist, and then I went to the channel of another content creator called Ogles. I've mentioned both of these in my comments, and Ogles had a demo of how to use Pestilent Mist. But more than that, on Ogles' video there was a comment by a user called Payattenti, who identified that there is an alcove, wherein that if you are facing Darkeater Midir the first time you enter the arena, and if you say that's 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock, perhaps in that other direction, is an alcove right next to a stalactite which is dripping water, where if you have a strong shield like Havel's shield, you can pretty much block most of his attacks barring the laser. So that user would basically block all attacks and then, step out when he got a chance to hit Midir on the head and then go back into the alcove again. But I decided to combine the Pestilent Mist strategies with that, because New Game+2 onwards, at least on the PC with the keyboard, is pretty hard. Like with a controller you can anyway go further, and this was the one guy I hadn't beaten and I'd lost a few embers to him, so I got a bit defensive. So I combined the Pestilent Mist and that, and I knew I was pretty buffed that I could pretty much stand here and take most attacks. But what you have to do is you need to step out when the laser comes, and I did mess that up on a couple of occasions, but I was pretty buffed up. And then you just got to make sure you're blocking when he's attacking at all times. You will take some chip damage, but you got to cleverly manage your health flasks, like Estus flasks. Depending upon how well you go, you may need anywhere from 8 to 13. And for Pestilent Mist, just 2 spare FP flasks are fine, because it's pretty cheap to cast and it does a lot of damage to him, which is quite good, because some of the strongest swords in the game were very slow in building up damage against this guy in New Game+2. So the rate at which Pestilent Mist worked was pretty good, but the idea is getting him pinned to a spot, which is pretty tough. So I pretty much did that. So you got to stay in that spot, and when he does the laser, you got to come out and dodge it. And when he explodes, when he goes to P2, as long as you are shielded up, that wouldn't matter. But as you saw in my video, when he fires those blue orbs, when he's got 30% health or that left, at that point of time you have to make sure that you have used your flasks before that impact to ensure you're at 100% health, and you're holding the shield. You're pressing that shield defense button, and you need to be in embered mode for this, otherwise you won't be able to tank the thing, because you will take some chip damage. So that's just what to watch out, that step out and block the laser, and make sure you're at full health and fully shielded when those other blue orbs come, and the rest should be pretty fine. So you can wait for him to stop attacking and he'll put his head next to the alcove, and if like the other users, you can either step out and attack him with a sword, or like I did, stay back and keep on spraying the mist. But this took me 5 or 6 attempts, because in New Game Plus sometimes he gets really aggressive in spamming his moves and combos compared to normal mode. And there was once where he kept on firing that laser until you could no longer dodge it. But every 2 or 3 attempts there will be an attempt like this one where there's a very infrequent use of the laser, and I nearly got killed in the end, because I didn't realize I hadn't seen that move of his before, the one that he did before death, where he was firing the laser up in the air, but there was an explosion in the corner where I was. Just watch out for that. So on the whole, I think this is a pretty good strategy once you identify where that alcove is. You stand there shielded up, and I tried other shields which have more fire resistance than Havel shield, but they weren't that durable, so be careful, as in they kept on getting swept a bit away. So I think this is a pretty good way to get over this boss. Like, I've beaten Nameless King, and I've beaten other people like maybe Soul of Cinder and Gunder and Dragon Slayer armor and whatnot up to New Game+2, but this boss was way tougher than them. So although this looks like a cheese, it isn't exactly. It does need some patience and skills, and you've got to be pretty buffed up to pull this off. In New Game+2, you'd need your key stats closer to 40 at least, though in New Game+1 and the base game you could probably have lesser stats. So that's the strategy I use, and I'll put some more explanation in the comments. So feel free to share your thoughts and let me know, how you beat this guy. And yes, in the video I did miss a few punishes, but yeah, as on the PC it's a bit faster than the video looks, and I was just being a bit defensive because I was down to my last few embers, so I was just trying to make sure I get the win. Anyway, cheers, thanks, hope you enjoy this.